What's up, YouTube? We're here with our own Zach. We got a deck profile with you. It's his Puregia build for April 2014. So yeah, here we go.
What's up, guys? This is my pure Geargia build. I found it more consistent than the Car Curry. So without further ado, I'm just going to go into the list. First, 3 armor. The monster lineup is pretty close to the Car Curry. You just don't play the Car Curries, basically. It's a very small monster lineup. You still flip this guy, get all your pluses. 3 arsenal, because he helps you get to armor. Opening this plus a bunch of back row is just as good as opening armor. 3 super accelerators, because they're better. These guys are still really good because you can make your Gigants, and you play 3 Gigant in this build, so you can just make a Gigant. If you have a couple of these in grave, you can just use Gigant's effect to bring them back from the grave instead of searching your deck or something. 3 MK2. You rely a lot more on this guy in this build. You don't really you use him for the gear obviously, but you don't use him like you do in the Car Curry build. You use him to make rank 3s because you play a variety of rank 3s since you're not playing synchros. And 1 Mach 1. I've seen Asian Eyes play 2 of these, and I don't know why he would ever do that. Anyone playing 2 of these is stupid.
That guy's a fag.
You should just play 1. And the final 2 monsters are 2 Effect Failure. These are good for Bear and things like that, because if they pop your face down armor, you have no plays. So 15 monsters. Spell lineup is fairly small. Play 3 upstarts just to get your consistency. I've seen people play duality, and I absolutely hate duality in this build because you special summon, so duality is bad. 3 MST, because removing back row is good. I do play 2 other back row removal cards I'll get to later. I'm playing Book of Moon in this build because I just found it to be good. And it's a good card to set in your back row against trap stun and things like that. And 1 Dark Hole because removal. And in this build, you don't really rely on your Car Curry plays, so you can rebuild your board a lot easier than if you're playing the Car Curries. So that's 8 spells. Traps, there's a lot of them. 3 Gear, because it's the most broken card in the deck. You can make your instant rank 4s with it. You can do anything you want with them. 2 Mirror Force, because Mirror Force is a really good removal trap. Generic stuff. 2 Deprison. I like this card a lot, this format, because it gets rid of things like Garunix and just problem cards like that in Grapha. Beals. Anything that can't be destroyed, you can destroy it by banishing it. 2 Fiendish Chain, because it's one of the best traps. The only problem is MST, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm testing 2 Mind Crush. I like this because if you open 2 and they open Tenki or something like that, and you see their hand, kill that card, and then you instantly know it's in their hand, so you can activate another one. The only problem I have with it is sometimes you don't have any cards in your hand, so it's dead. But other than that, it's been testing okay. 1 ofs, Bottomless, Compulse. I wasn't playing this for a while, but I actually have found that this has come in handy. 1 TT, because like I said before, you can actually rebuild your board in this build, unlike Car Curry. And then the 2 removal traps is 1 Trap Stun and 1 7 Tools. This I like for a bunch of back row, but this can lose to things because this is a counter trap. You can stop Solemn Warning, things like that. So it's good to have. You're not afraid to make your plays when you have one of these set. And Solemn Warning. 17 traps. Extra deck. For the extra deck, you're not playing Synchro, so you have a lot more room. So for the rank 3s, I'm playing 1 Zen Mains. 1 Acid Golem, he's your muscle basically. You make him last and you try to kill your opponent. 1 Giga Brilliant. You don't make this too often, but if you have 2 or 3 Gigants you want to beef up, you can beef him up to 21, beef your Gigants up to 26. So it's pretty good in that aspect. 1 Soul of Serpent Mountain, this card is absolutely ridiculous if you can make it in the right time. You can lock out one of your opponent's back row, so late game, grind game, it's good to lock out their back row. And they can chain it, so if they have to chain it, they'll chain it right there. And 1 Alucard, this card is absolutely amazing. This is the card I want to make most of the time. I'm going to make a rank 3 just because it's that good. It's an 1800 body that can pop back row, and it can attack the same turn. For the rank 4s, you play 3 Gigant, because he's the boss monster basically, if you have one, because these guys aren't very intimidating. 1 Silent Honor. It's probably the best rank 4 in the game. Emerald for recycling your resources. Since you do play 3 Gear, you want to get those guys back in the deck, because I have the misfortune of drawing them a lot, so you don't want to draw those guys. 1 Dweller for Mermail and things like that. 1 Direwolf for just popping things that you can't get rid of. 1 black ship for Zen mains and Gachi. If I was running Exciton, this would come out for Exciton, but I don't feel like running Exciton is necessary in this build because you're always plussing and you constantly have card advantage. But if I did have the opportunity to play one, I would just cut this for it. 1 Maestro because it's an out to Ophion and Cowboy for game.
No sound on it?
He's in there.
He
Apparently you weren't paying attention.
halfway through.
I was texting, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go away.
Thanks, Eat Dirt, for that. Side deck, 2 Dyna, because I still like Dyna. Again, with the mass destruction cards, you can build your board back up, so it's really not a big deal to blow up your cards if you really, really have to. But sometimes I'll like open this and just sit on it, summon it in attack mode so your opponent can't special summon, and you just beat them down with it and protect it with back row. 2 Twister for Decree and things like that. 1 Defissure, because you can play Defissure, so it's not really a bad thing against your deck, so it kills some decks, so you play it. 3 Light Imprisoning for Bujin, Kinstellar, Hunders, Lightsworn, any of that nonsense, any chaos. 2 Blackhorn for the Mirror and other things that XYZ. 2 DNA for Prophecy and Bujin. Can't drop Crane, can't use Master, things like that. 2 Overworked for Fire, Gravekeepers, anything, Harpies, anything with back row. I especially like this against Harpies. I don't play against Harpies a lot, but in testing, you side this in against Harpies, and they'll like try to pop it with their field, and you can chain it. So it's a trainable trap for Harpies, and 1 Soul Drain for Mermails and things like that. So this is the Geargia, pure Geargia build. Hope you guys liked it. Thanks.